So, we finally have news for Overwatch 2. It's been quite the drought, but we have finally gotten an update. Signups for the PvP beta have gone up, and you can sign up for those at Play Overwatch. I did link that down in the description below. Be warned that it does take quite a bit of refreshing right now. They're getting a bit of the hug of death in there for signups for the beta, and if you have multiple accounts, you probably do want to brute force your way through signing up with multiple of those, because as you can see, this is a chance to end up in the closed beta test. Maybe they'll gradually open it up to more and more accounts as time goes on. Maybe they'll just randomly pick a few. We don't really know, but usually these sort of things are a bit of a lottery type system. So if you have multiple ways to get tickets in there from having multiple accounts in there, probably want to go ahead and do that. But what we're looking at with the Overwatch 2 beta, as they've shown us here, is they are giving us one new hero. This is happening again in late April. There is a closed alpha that is going on right now, starting this week, that Blizzard employees, some of them are on, some OWL pros are on, but do be aware that they are under NDA. So you're not going to get too many leaks of what's going on there. You may still get some, but people are risking breaking NDA when that sort of information gets out of what's going on in that current beta that's starting this week, the alpha. The beta, that more of us will get access to, people will not be under NDA for. I'm sure people will see it getting streamed, see things like that. That is happening in late April. And in that, we will have access to one new hero. We will have access to only 4 new maps, and only 2 of those look like they're going to be push maps. So that's a little bit interesting. We've added this mode push, but we're only going to get 2 maps for it. I suppose that's not too different than the current map pool where we have 2 CP, but only 3 of the maps are for it. I do wonder what they'll do, if they'll intentionally over-represent the new maps, if they'll intentionally over-represent the push maps by going, hey, we're going to balance when you queue the map type, so you could end up 25% for each map type, and therefore you end up on Queen Street and Colosseo more often than you do any other map, because there's, it still needs to represent 25 of the maps you play, or what? We'll have to see. And then we're getting reworks, which is kind of like getting new heroes, as we know. I'm actually really curious to see what they're going to do with Orisa. Is she going to get to keep her barrier? Is she going to change massively? Is she going to feel like a completely different hero? This is going to be a 1-tank game. Remember, 5v5 here, so we've lost a tank. Orisa has to be able to fly solo. How is she going to be able to do that? She's really the least mobile of the tanks there. She slows herself down in her current form quite noticeably when she starts shooting at things. She doesn't move all that well. Yes, she can walk while fortifying, but she still slows down while shooting, unless they make her not slow down while fortified. There you go, Orisa buff idea. Not that she needs it. So it'll be really interesting to see how she works on what are some bigger maps that we're looking at in some ways, and when there's only 1 tank on the board and she needs to potentially cover everywhere. Are they just going to go, oh no, her range is enough, or are they going to do a little something more for her? We've got a Doomfist rework. We expect he's going into the tank category, and that'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting to see if he plays much the same and they've just tuned his numbers. If they change his abilities and require Doomfist to have put a lot of hours into mastering techs with him, if they change an ability or two and then, you have to completely relearn him, or what's going on there, or if the rework is just going to be number-wise, or what the abilities do in terms of, hey, the ability does less damage but gives you more shield, or knocks people back further. But if it changes how he moves, or changes his hitbox size, which could change how he slides off some things, that could be a pretty big deal. Bastion, we've seen a fair amount of the rework for. I'm not too worried about that. I still don't think he's going to be an amazing tier hero, but we've seen the rework for it. He's going to have the more temporary tank mode. His ult is going to be the bombardment that we see. I don't think that bombardment's going to be that hard to dodge based on what we've seen. It actually looks a little bit weak in my mind, but hey, we've seen what that looks like. They obviously could have iterated on it, but that's what we know. And then Sombra was just an absolute menace an absolute menace the last time we got to see any sort of preview of play, with her hack only actually taking away people's ability for 1 second, but then making them significantly more vulnerable to Sombra damage, her being able to hack from stealth and only coming out of stealth if she got the hack off, all sorts of silly things there. She was quite powerful and backlines feared her. So we will see. And then lastly, we have the new ping system here. So we'll see what that means. I don't know what that means. I did watch the developer update video. I don't think people need to invest the minutes to go watch that. It wasn't terribly interesting. Honestly, the developer update video tells us what we see here and then repeats a little bit about, oh, we're in this together. We haven't communicated well. We'll give you more updates. We've let you down with delivering content. Overwatch 2 is going to be a living game. It's a lot of apology and platitudes and this and that, and it honestly doesn't feel terribly well delivered. But hey, that's corporate speak. That's how it's going to work. Whatever. They're going to try to convince us that no, we'll be better this time. Yeah, sure. We'll see. For a while, they will be. But that's what we're looking at. I certainly want to know your guys' thoughts. Drop comments down in the description below to let me know. That really is the update. I'll do a quick catch up on chat. Do drop a like. Consider subscribing to see more Overwatch 2 updates. And I obviously am signed up with multiple accounts. Hope I get in. Whether I get in or not, we'll obviously be doing a lot of coverage of Overwatch 2. From a coaching perspective, from an is the game fun going to be perspective, from a, okay, what can you be practicing in Overwatch 1 if you don't get into Overwatch 2 perspective that's going to be transferable as we know more, all sorts of good stuff like that. So if you want to stay informed, make sure you subscribe so you see them. People are excited. People are signed in. James is signed in on 6 accounts. Okay. Oh, you got to get those details back. Get signed up. I might even recommend doing what I did, which is, sign in from different locations with a VPN on your different accounts so that you don't all look like the same player. But hey. Orisa turns into a horse. Well, that would get her some mobility. If she's a horse and she can throw someone on her back and she can start leaping over things and going galloping, is she doing 4-hoof pattern, a 2-hoof pattern? What's she doing? Oh, Orisa can run at different speeds. Okay, probably not. 2 shields like Junkrat's 2 mines could be. That could work for her, but you'd almost have to in some way mandate that they're deployed in different directions, because her being able to hold down 2 different directions would really help in this 1 tank era perhaps, but you wouldn't want her to be able to double stack them in the same direction. That would just be oh, they're worried about Shield Watch, and I think they're worried enough about Shield Watch that they probably won't give her 2 barriers. They're more likely to take away her barrier entirely than to give her 2 barriers, would be my guess. Baseball cap is part of his rework. Sounds legit. Ping system equals heroes do callouts. Could be. If I opt in, will my grandchildren get to play? Yeah, but only if you're able to pretend that they're you. Don't have them tell anyone that they're not you. Make sure you pass on your identifying information. Okay. That's going to do it. Please do drop a like, consider subscribing. Want this one to be short, and I'll see you guys in the next one.